Did the president have any role in the decision to scramble F-16s, or is that process self-contained? Is NORAD and DOD, NSC?
So what I can say for sure is that the president was they're certainly briefed and throughout the process and kept abreast. Can't speak to the exact process and what comes first and how it all runs down. Clearly, this is a Department of Defense that kind of certainly led this operation, but can't speak to where the president kind of engaged or not. I can tell you that he was certainly kept abreast.
Latest flight of migrants, this time to Sacramento. I understand that the White House, the state authorities are investigating where that flight originated and who paid for the flight to go, whether there was some involvement by Florida. Are you in close touch with the California authorities, and do you have any initial findings now?
So yes, we are in close touch with state officials on the issue that you just laid out. So I've said it many times from here, repeatedly from this podium, that busing or flying migrants around the country without any coordination with the federal government, we've talked about this, state or local officials as well, is dangerous and unacceptable. And we'll continue to be very, very clear about that. And it's dangerous and unacceptable because you're actually putting a lot of pressure on these states and local areas.
Another one on Nikki Haley. She also said that a vote for President Biden is a vote for Vice President Kamala Harris. What do you say to anyone who is questioning whether the president would survive a full 4-year term?
Look, this is a president, if you look at his track record, and I'm saying this more broadly, if you look at what he's been able to do, he has been able to push forward and get done historic pieces of legislation. He has gotten more done than any other president. When you think about the infrastructure legislation, when you think about the last president, it was a joke. We were talking about Infrastructure Week. It was literally a joke. Now you hear this president talking about infrastructure decade. He really had one of the best midterm outcome for a new Democratic president in 60 years. In 60 years. It's a Huffington Post headline. After calling Joe Biden senile, Republicans complain he outsmarted them. I'll leave it there. Okay.
But to follow up on this, because the other argument that was being made in that comment by that candidate is that a vote for Joe Biden is a vote for Vice President Harris to possibly become president. Does the White House see those continued attacks from Republicans and, frankly, comments from Democrats concerned about that as sexist, racist, politically convenient?
But not going to go into a tit for tat. What does this mean? What is this outcome going to be? What I'll speak to is what I know here in this White House and how they have worked very closely to get all of the things that I just laid out get done on behalf of the American people. Chairman
of the House Oversight Committee says they're going to vote to hold the FBI director in contempt on Thursday for withholding documents about some uncorroborated corruption allegations dating back to when the president was vice president. Does the White House have any comment on the Oversight Committee's continued focus on this?
So I would have to refer you to the FBI. They've actually put out a statement on this, and I would refer you to them.
The president says we're in a competition with China. He's been in office 28 months. Are we winning the competition?
So I would point you to the 800,000 manufacturing jobs that were created here. I would point you to the Chips and Science Act of what we've been able to do, historic pieces of legislation to prove that point that I'm making.
So he feels like we're winning that competition.
What we feel like is we are in a place where we are have created an economy that the president hopes that will work for everyone. Of the 13 million jobs that this president was able to create in just 2 years. In just 2 years, that's historical. No other president has been able to do that even in 4 years. And so, yes, we're going to continue to be competitive.